Welcome back to the College Chaos Podcast. Garrett Ross and Jack McKenzie here with you. And now, if you are an Oklahoma State fan, you might want to check out, but you also might want to let us know what the hell is going on in Stillwater. I've never seen a program, Jack, go from literally inches. You see that? Inches.
I don't know if y'all can see exactly what that is, but that is what people down here in Waco refer to as the McPlay.
Yes, sir.
You probably already looked away once you realized what it is.
Your eyeballs are burning.
You were literal inches away from the college football playoff.
You are inches away. You have everything, all the momentum going in your favor, and yet you come out the next season. And I know a lot of people have given Baylor flack about not building off of what they were able to establish. Oklahoma State is in some serious trouble here, man. They go 7-6 on the season, 4-5 in the Big 12, and everybody has hit the portal.
Everybody.
What were you? All right. When you started seeing the news come out, I think it really probably started with Spencer Sanders. And while, look, I know a lot of people are high on Spencer Sanders. They really like him. I think he's average as a bowl of grits. Like he's just is what it is. He's an interception machine.
Once he hits a good defense, he starts throwing those picks and making mistakes.
And I think that's probably why he is still sitting in the portal, because a lot of coaches are seeing that. Now, look, if you're a program who just needs a Band-Aid, a guy.
I understand why he moved on.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. This is a guy who did about all he could do in Stillwater. And the way it seems like things are trending there, it makes complete sense why he hit the portal along with the, I don't know a better term than mass exodus of guys.
So during his tenure at Oklahoma State, he threw for almost 10,000 yards, 67 touchdowns. He played in 43 games. On the ground, I mean, he's versatile, almost rushed for 2,000 yards, but he was always getting banged up. At times, I think that the game overwhelmed him. And so I understand that. But when you look at this right now, dude, offensively, they've lost 8 guys to the portal, including Langston Anderson. You lost Bryson Green.
Braylon Presley.
Younger
brother of Brennan Presley. And Brennan was a pretty good poke.
He was. And here's the thing with Presley.
Sorry, maybe not was. I think he's still a junior. So
yeah. But let's talk about Presley, right?
Yeah.
You go from Oklahoma State to Tulsa?
That's kind of damning.
It makes no sense to me.
A group of 5 program in your own state.
Yeah. Like, dude.
Like, close to home, that's not I'm sorry. In the same state, unless it's a state as big as Texas, you can't tell me I need to be closer to home and then stay in state.
No. I mean, I'm going somewhere else. And look, I'm not going to say, I'm not sitting here poo-pooing on Tulsa or anything. They're
neither.
A solid program, but they are significant step down from Oklahoma State. Not only that, dude, you lose Dominic Richardson, tremendous running back, and not only that, you lose him to Baylor
in conference.
And
he's the exact type of back Baylor needs. We're not going to get into that, but like
he's like Abram Smith.
Yeah.
And they need a pounder.
And they know well what Abram Smith did for them.
Absolutely do. And I think I think he is the perfect fit to get into Baylor's scheme. The day after the Armed Forces Bowl, Smokey and I had Dominic on 365 Sports in the afternoon. Go check that out, like and subscribe. And listening to him talk, man, he was really relieved, that he found a program, and he was talking about Baylor and why he chose Baylor, and it was like, I like that family atmosphere. And you hear that from a lot. Covering recruiting, that's one of the key points I hear from a lot of guys, why they choose Baylor is the family atmosphere. And listening and reading between the lines, that was lost at Oklahoma State. And I think a lot of guys up there are seeing it start to get toxic. I think when you look at Mike Gundy's rants and all of the annex, I think he's like Dabo. He's like Jim Harbaugh. He just doesn't want to be in it no more. He's tried to get out of Stillwater so many times, it's ridiculous. And I think right now, everybody's just like, we're done with this. We're done with Gundy. I think this is probably his last year coaching in Stillwater. I think it probably should be. They definitely need to refresh things up there. But just listening to Dominic, I'm not saying he said that. I'm not saying Dominic said there was a bad culture up there, but just listening to his tone, and that's what I took away from it. And when you see all of these departures, man, that's a straight reflection of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a reflection of that. I also feel like it's a reflection of, I remember Oklahoma State from years ago being a dynamic offense, being a fun program to watch. Not necessarily on par with like OU or anything, but it was the Big 12. Everyone was kind of like that. 5 of these transfers on offense are wide receivers. I don't think people like the direction the program is going on the field and in the locker room.
No.
I think it's both. And you're really digging into that in the locker room aspect, and with everything that's swirled around Gundy. Like I swear, every offseason there's something. He gets prickly at something, like he did after the bowl game with that reporter who had no idea when he'd get access to Gundy.
Exactly.
Next. Like,
and he didn't ask. He asked a legit question.
And it's a long season, and that's a tough way to end it. But yeah, there's always something, and it really does seem like the recruiting, the constantly having to worry about the guys you already have in-house, in your locker room, the guys who are supposed to be bought in because they've committed and they're here and they're doing the work, they're with the team. Some people just aren't built for it, and it's weird that the rules have changed, so now you've got people who were so built, so ready to succeed the way the rules used to be, and now seeing how it's gotten for them when the rules have changed, and now they're not built for it anymore.
You got to adapt, man. In every aspect, in every facet of life, you got to adapt or you're going to get left behind. And I think we're seeing that a lot right now across the board in general. But, even on the defensive side, dude, you lose Mason Cobb to USC.
Trace Ford.
That's brutal. Trace Ford. You lose all of your key DeMarco Jones. Everybody's gone. When you look at this, I feel like Oklahoma State is in a position now where you go from being what was supposed to be one of the face programs of the new Big 12 to damn near an afterthought. If you're going to bring in programs like UCF and what Gus Malzahn has built down there, what they have going on out in BYU, Cincinnati, well, they had a down year. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not real sold on Cincinnati.
Me neither.
I'm really
I was sold
not.
on Luke Fickell. I'm not sold on Cincinnati.
I'm not sold on Satterfield. So I'll kind of leave them out of there. Houston, I think if Houston, and look, we can get into this next week. They have a cultural issue going on down there with Holgerson, but if they get the right guy in there, and look, maybe Holgerson figures it out, but the expectations are a little different now if you're Houston.
I felt like Holgerson, and I didn't look into it too deep, I felt like he was running from something at West Virginia. Like, he didn't want some of the expectations that were there.
I don't even know if it was the expectations. I think that he's kind of like Gundy, and he rubbed people the wrong way after a while.
Yeah, I think that too. And so now the expectations are higher, and the spotlight's going to be that much brighter and that much hotter. And I don't think he's built for the modern coaching game.
I don't think he is either. But all right.
And then you see guys like elsewhere in the conference, like Dykes and McGuire, who seem like they are built for this.
Yeah, they are.
And there are questions about guys like Aranda and Sark. Like, are they built? Can they handle this?
Look, let me tell you something. Dave Aranda's built for this. Dave Aranda's staff that he's put together is built for this. They have young guys who can recruit. They have young guys who can relate.
Sorry, I just derailed us into Baylor. I'm not trying to.
You're fine. But I mean, Baylor's going to be fine. But when you're looking ahead to next season, I think Oklahoma State is a program who, honestly, has got to be down towards the bottom, man. Like, I don't know how you can come back from something like this. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you're not tech. And look, when I say this take it with a grain of salt. But you're not Texas A&M, and Texas A&M is what they are. But they have the NIL influx to where they can lose 20-something people to the portal and kind of bring back and keep the talent across the board. You're still going to be average in the SEC, but Oklahoma State is not in a position to do that. And I think that when you head into next season, there's some real concerns. Garrett Rangel did not look good at the quarterback position against Wisconsin. He was good in high school at Frisco Lone Star. I mean, he really was. But I don't know if he's going to have to develop. But if you don't have the pieces around you, I don't care how good you are, man, you're going to struggle. And I think the Pokes are in real trouble next year to kind of finish in probably the lower, like one of the lower 3 teams in the conference.
I mean, the only thing I can say at this point is that this is it. This is when Gundy shows whether or not he can adapt. This year, I can't say make or break for a coach who's clearly made it at least one era.
It should be make or break.
But it's make or break for the future
Absolutely
of Gundy
is.
and Oklahoma State.
It really is.
it's weird starting this segment. I was like, I don't know if it's his last. It's his last year if they don't make a bowl, in my mind.
I would have fired him.
Even then.
I would have fired him after this year. Like, you can't look at all this if you're the administration and be comfortable with what's happening. There's obviously something going on. You can see it. Everybody sees it. It's just a matter of addressing it. And I understand he's one of the greatest players to ever come through there. I mean, the dude bleeds orange or whatever, however you want to put that. But you got to get past that at times, man. You can't let your personal relationships keep you in a bad situation that's going to negatively impact you. And that's exactly what's happening right now in Stillwater. But on the good side, if you're a Pokes fan, Mike Boykin, you got them rolling on the basketball court, especially after last season where you had those NCAA sanctions that were wrongfully given to you that should have been given to Kansas, but they weren't. But we're going to get into some Big 12 basketball coming up next. Primarily, we're going to look at K-State and Jerome Tane coming back to Waco to take on his mentor, his right-hand man, Scott Drew. That's next on the College Chaos Podcast.